Hi, my name is Teresa Kovlak, and the other day I posted this little seahorse onto my Instagram and had quite a few inquiries about him. So I thought I'd show you how to paint a seahorse today in alcohol ink. My main colors I'm going to be using is raspberry, and this is made by Ranger, Limeade, and Mermaid. Again, all three of those inks are made by Ranger. I'll be using a little bit of their blending solution in the beginning, and then in my little bowl, I will be using some 99% alcohol. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm using these little tiles, and you can pick these up at your hardware store, Home Depot or Lowe's if you're here in the United States. Otherwise, a tile shop works perfect. So when you pick up these tiles, this comes in a big sheet, about probably 12 inches, and has several tiles. And I take and I cut them apart. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you how I do this. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put down some of that blending solution, a little bit of that Limeade, and of course a little Mermaid. And I just kind of move it around until I have it how I would like it. And the ink is really cool. You can make some really unique effects with it. So we'll go ahead and just grab a small brush. And these are my little trays, again, that I take on the road with me. And I like them because I just kind of put an assortment of ink in them. And they're easy to travel with. So I thought I'd pull these out and show you. So I'm just going through and making a little bit of coral or different rocks that you would see in the ocean, and just kind of bring them on over. So we'll put our seahorse in the main spot there. We're just kind of building up around it. And on this, you just pick some colors that you like. They don't have to be any in particular color. You just kind of want it to look like a little coral reef. I'm just taking a little bit of alcohol, going through, picking up a little bit of that ink. And it allows for some accent colors, some highlights. All I'm using is the alcohol out of my little bowl right now. I'm not putting any color in. I'm taking some color out and just moving it around. And I like that pretty good there. So let's go ahead and add in our seahorse. And all I'm going to use is a Q-tip. And what I do is I there's that fuzzy part at the end of the Q-tip. I just take and I peel a little bit of that off. So that's about how much I peeled off. And I take and I dip it into my alcohol, into my little bowl. And I just kind of press it down onto the paper towel. And I have some Q-tips I've been using, for some time. So you can use this for a long time. So again, I'm going to roll out some of that alcohol onto my paper towel. I don't want it too wet. And we'll go ahead and put him in about right here. I'm going to turn my tile just because it helps me work a little easier. So we got the round head. We're going to bring his body down. And a little tail. And pick up a little more alcohol, kind of roll my Q-tip onto my paper towel. Give him a little tummy. All I'm doing is I'm pulling out a little bit of that color. Give him some little fins. And we need a little nose on him. And then I like to take and put some little just like these little bumps coming out on his head and his tail, bring it all the way down. And there we go. So that's the beginning of our seahorse. And I think we're going to go ahead and make him pink today. He can be a pink seahorse. So this is raspberry that I'm using as my main color. And I'm just using a small brush. Now I'm actually going to grab a different brush because that one is kind of spreading apart. There we go. And down his tail. And then we're going to do his head. And the nose. And then he has a back fin on him. And I'll start it off in the pink, but I'll actually come back with some other accent colors usually. So I just rinsed off my brush. And I'm going to grab a different brush. I haven't been real happy with my little tiny brush lately. So I've been trying a few different ones. So I'm just going back over top of that again. All I'm using is the alcohol on my brush. I'm going to come in and grab a little bit of this blue. And I'll do his little bumps, or his little fins. I'm not sure what they're called. Just to kind of highlight him a little. So those of you that are just joining me, I am a Michigan girl, but I do have a love of the ocean. I actually used to have a couple of different saltwater fish tanks. I never had seahorses, but I had plenty of other sea creatures. So I do have a love of the ocean, and I paint a lot of ocean type pieces. My other love would probably be birch trees. I love birch trees. Probably because I grew up here in Michigan, but the aspen tree is really nice too. Anyways, I'm just coming in with a little bit of alcohol, just kind of lightening it up a little bit. So I still got that raspberry in there. That's his main color. We're going to let him dry down a little bit. And while he's drying down, we're going to go ahead and put in some, we'll put in a starfish. Maybe a starfish or two. So what I'm using is, this is a Sharpie, and it is a brush tip. You can see the tip here is nice and wide. It is a lot different than the tip of a regular Sharpie. So what's nice about this is I can actually use this to paint in some of my pieces. And because it's alcohol based, it works perfect with my ink. And I just draw me in a starfish. He's got kind of got a pudgy leg there, so bring it down a little bit more. And I tap off on the paper towel. The reason I'm tapping off on the paper towel is I'm picking up some of that ink. So when I'm pulling or pushing, writing him in, drawing him in, I don't want that ink from the painting to stay on my tip. So again, I just wipe it off. And wherever you want a starfish, you can put them. And then if you want to highlight him a little bit, you can come in, put just a little bit of alcohol on your brush, and you can just highlight him by picking up a little bit of that ink. Again, I am wiping my brush off so I don't have a lot of alcohol on my brush. And I'm just kind of highlighting him a little bit. All right, and my seahorse should be good and dry now. So I'm going to go ahead and put an eye in him, sorry. And put it about right there. And I like taking the seahorse and just giving him some little marks around his eye. That looks pretty good. And we can even come in with another Sharpie and just kind of make some little scales on him. So these are super cool for using. This is the brush tip one that I'm using now. Just kind of drawing in a little weed that he's holding on. And just bring it down. So that one was the brush tip that I used. Now I'm going to go back in with my brush. I wiped off the extra alcohol on the paper towel. And just picking up a little bit of that ink and making it with the little highlights. There we go. And let's go ahead and put ourselves a little crab in. Now you can do the little crab either with the markers, or you can go ahead and put it in with your ink. So it's up to you. If you're more comfortable doing it with the marker, that's fine too. That's fine too. So I see the problem here is going to be he's going to blend in too much with his little stones. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of blue in here because we don't want them to blend in. We want to be able to see our little crab. So I'm just taking my tray and putting a little bit of alcohol on there. Just waking that ink back up. And bring it in on him. Put him right there. Give him a few highlights real quick. And we got to do his little hands, because all little crabs need hands. And put those about right here. It was funny one time when I had my saltwater fish tank. I had seen this beautiful blue crab. And I said to the guy, well, will he eat my fish? And he said, oh no, they'll be fine. So I took him home with me. And my fish started disappearing and disappearing and disappearing. To say the least, that guy was wrong, and that little crab ate my fish. But he was happy. All right, and then we'll go ahead and put in his eyes. We're going to just go ahead and use a Sharpie. This is a fine point. And we'll just kind of bring it in. Give him some nice big eyes there. Now, what you can do is you can put a little white on his eyes if you want it to pop a little bit more. But I don't see my white, so I can't even do it for you. I think it's in my box. Oh, here it is. All right. So, sorry about that. This is acrylic pen. And you just go in there, and we're just going to give that a little shake. Bring that white down. And we're just going to give them a little dot on there. We'll let that dry down a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and go with black over top of that. But we're going to let that dry down a little bit. And while that's drying, we're going to go ahead and add in some air bubbles on our seahorse. So very little very little alcohol on your brush, because you don't want it to get crazy with air bubbles. You just want them to go where you want them. And you can do as many as you want or as little as you want. And I think I'll bring a little bit more of that blue into his back fin there. And on his tummy. Just to pick up a little accent color. So it's just a fun little painting, and I hope some of these tips were definitely helpful to you, and that you enjoyed watching me paint this painting. If so, if you give me a thumbs up and subscribe, that's all I need to let me know that you'd like to keep seeing my videos, and I can keep them coming at you. I'm going to go ahead and go in with this red just to add a little more red to his shell and his little hands. So Lots of fun to make seahorses. Hopefully you'll pull out your inks and give it a try. And if you'd like to see me paint some other kind of sea creature or something else, maybe I can do it. If so, leave it in the comment section below. Or if you have any questions, leave it in the comment section below and I will get to them. So I think we'll go ahead and leave it there for now. You could end up working on these little sea guys forever. But so this is, actually let me put a clean piece of paper towel down. See if I got a clean one. All right, there we go. So that way you can enjoy them. So this is the one we painted today. This is the one that you seen on Instagram yesterday, if you were on my Instagram. Again, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. You're welcome to follow me there. And again, if you have any questions, comments, leave them in the section below. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Happy painting.